Hate to say I told you so, folks. All day long, everything I've been saying for days and days keeps coming out true. Many folks with massive followings proven absolutely incorrect. White House, Donald J. Trump, I made Israel do what I told them to do. Folks, that's how it is. Iran's got no friends. I told you. UNSC resolutions, over 20 years worth. Nobody backs Iran. China was building reserves, aka Canada supplied reserves for this Iran. And you know what? OPEC has been planning for an entire year straight. Apparently, everybody missed it. Now, Canadians missed it, but Americans getting into religious fanaticism, taking the Bible and trying to interpret it. You're wrong. You're wrong. All the Arab OPEC nations are going against Iran. In fact, look what happened. Qatar joins USA. Saudi Arabia is joining USA. And on through all the OPEC nations, because they planned, are you ready, to ramp up oil by 1.8 million barrels a day over the course of the last year into another 8 months. That's to replace Iran. That's why Iran has been bombing all of them. Traitors, they say. Traitors to the Supreme Leader. Well, they're not going to go the route of the Supreme Leader or any of the crazy shit the Supreme Leader and all that government regime's doing. They have no allies. Everybody. Zero. Zip. Zilch. And that low-life degenerate Mark Carney, who's the master of propaganda. All Canadian politicians are. But he turns around after betraying the United States on 4 separate fronts. Oh, we support USA. Down with Iran, even though they're the source of probably a good mass majority of that uranium that was enriched by Iran to begin with. That's a fact. That's a fact. Look at China, India, Iran. Look at it. Look at BRICS nations. Look where Canada's been. Don't worry. Trump's going to get there. But not this month, not next month, not the month after that, or even the month after that. But come July, I can tell you, all the missing data comes in July, and it's no good for Canada. Everyone's missing it. It's not Americans' fault. It's really not Americans' fault. Literally less than 1.5% of their economy is resource-based. That massive GDP, hardly any of it is resource-based. It's all on the human resource. That's the quality of the person. Americans don't look into resources at the same level. They look at the human resource. This is how they trip on these things. Unfortunately for Canada and Canadians, that's all they know, because we're devalued here. There is no human resource economy in Canada. It's subjects and savages, class structured, a garbage economy, much similar to a lot of third world nations. The only difference between us is we have a vast supply of natural resources to work with. Our economy is nosediving in all of our manufacturing, all of our tertiary industries, all of our communications, tech, all of it, computers, scientific, nosediving at incredible rates for actually a lot of decades. USA sees it. They say you're nuts. They don't support it. Trump sees it. He's a businessman, a brilliant strategist, folks. He's been working at it all year, setting up these chess pieces on the board. I've had the great privilege of following that to a T, reading absolutely everything I could. And then the supposed blinders have been lifted as I've got into all the congressional committee reports, both Republican and Democrat. Still got more to go through. But folks, when it comes to the international stage, when it comes to the presidency, when it comes to the industries involved, I'm bang on, right on the money. You'll find on my timeline in screenshotted. I've kept up with it. Anyone who's followed me for years, you're never going to get me when it comes to oil and gas. That's how I made my life fortune, if you want to call it that. I'll say it's how I raised my family. I'll put it to you that way. But when it comes to oil and gas, you'll never get one on me. It's been my life force, my lifeblood, how I earn my money for decades and decades. There's nothing I don't know about those industries, energy in general. And I could tell you, I knew this was never going to be. As soon as Iran did what it was doing, I already knew. It's all over my timeline for many, many months, going back a year. I showcase the oil because that's everything that's Alberta, it's everything that's Canada, and that with China, and now India in precious metals and minerals, in the war machine, in proliferation. Man, we're getting a beat down from USA. But because of all that knowledge, folks, it's really easy for me to see the future of Iran, where Iran is, with all the other Arab states. Folks, all the other Arab states are going against Iran. It's been in the works for a year. I know this. I watch oil like nobody else. It's already published. It's been published over and over by myself. I've been telling everybody how it's going to affect Canada, because that's all we have is natural resources. We don't have the American human resource-based economy. We don't have those professional situations in tertiary, primary. We don't have any of that. That's all gone from Canada. We rely on very primitive, at the lowest level, resource extraction. So yeah, people like myself follow that because that's the only work we get. This isn't America, not even remotely close. The Crown don't care about us. You're lucky to get a job. And that's the truth. You hunt for jobs in this country. That's it. Whatever the Crown allows us to have. But mark my words, Iran's finished. There's no Russia and China. If they were better propagandists and liars, honestly, they would have took a page out of the biggest liar of them all, Mark Carney's book. He beat the hell out of Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin in lying. They tried to lie and put up a brave face, but they suck at it. Because nobody beats the British system of propaganda and lying. And honestly, Canada kicked China and Russia's ass in making up stories. And unfortunately, some of those stories, Americans are running with it. It's very sad. It's very sad. It's sad to see. They're just too honest for their own good. And I even hate to say that. That's the truth of China and Russia too. You're not good liars. Good liars are people like Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre and the rest of the Crown politicians in Canada. Those are A-plus professional liars because they compulsively lie all the time at an exorbitant rate. They're very tremendously good at it. They have their media conditioned to it. They know how to write the lies, and Canadians eat it by the boatloads. And Americans will never get good at that because they're not conditioned to be that way. Russia's way behind the eight ball on that. They're never going to be ever as good propagandists as even Canada. Learned from the British Empire system. Master liars. Trump called UK out today too. They ran them into the floor. If anyone missed the White House presentation, Donald J. Trump in Germany, he ran UK down. I'm not talking out my rear end here, folks. It's all the truth. You know what Donald J. Trump's the greatest at? Not a very good liar at all. He's tremendous at the truth. He's a tremendous genius strategist, and he just tells the truth. He's been telling the truth the entire time and comfortable in that. That's why he doesn't need teleprompters either. It's very easy when you just tell the truth. When it's truthful and you learn to be that way and you shed the Canadian bullshit and you stop the lying, which I've tried to do many years ago. I've really, really worked tremendously hard at always being honest no matter what. And sometimes it sucks. You don't get a good following for that. It'll taper off and then it'll pick up. But, it's slow growth. But I can say this. It all stays up here when you just tell the truth. As long as you stay with what is and don't come up with stories or make up things, it gets really easy to roll it out. And you know what? Because Donald J. Trump is 100% honest, I look like a shining beacon of intelligence and all this because, he somehow knows things he shouldn't. No, it's just that Donald J. Trump is honest. He told everybody today, no, I tell Israel what to do, and they do it. Netanyahu has no choice. He has to do whatever Trump says now. He's finito if he doesn't. Trump's got him like this. I got you wrapped like a chain, buddy. You're right here like this. You'll do whatever I tell you to do. All the Arab nations are joining in, folks. I bet you if you made a bet a month ago, nobody would have said that. I see it. I look at all the OPEC. I knew it. I read the UNSC. It just didn't happen. I didn't expect USA to. It's been 6 months, many months past the due date for their extension on the nuclear, which they refused to. And we all heard it publicly out of the Ayatollah's mouth. We won't stop. The president, too. We won't stop. America can't make us. We'll kill you. Well, you got slaughtered. You're done. Don't call for what you're not able to back up. And you can't back it up. China and Russia have already went through the UNSC for many years. Then they had to flip back. It's called step back into sanctions. They asked on Iran's behalf, please give them another extension. USA said no. And it reverts back because that's what Russia and China voted for every single time over the last 20 years. Sure, they tried to get an extension, and they did. USA agreed 6 more months, but that's over now. USA said, They voted on Friday, voted in majority. Russia didn't veto, China didn't veto, USA threw bombs. I don't know how Americans don't have this all over the media. I don't know how they don't back up. They were looking at some kind of thing where they were going to fry Trump. And now Democrats are eating other Democrats, high-level Democrats from the committees I told you. I even gave you a number of 8. Right now there's 5. Looks like it's going to be 7 by tomorrow. There is one of the 8 who's trying to play stupid. But now he's wrestling with, can I really win my own, it's not a constituency, that's Canadian. I'm tired. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But that his group, his map, district, thank you, his district, can he even win his district if he doesn't make that choice, especially after what he voted for in committee, what he wrote about in committee. What do you think Israelis in his district and Iranians in his district, and in fact all Arabs in his district, that's a loss of over 6% of his electorate. That's flipped to Republican if you don't. And he's probably going to have to go in on it because all the Arab states are joining Donald J. Trump. That's OPEC. These are Islamist states. Folks, wake up. The writing's on the wall. It's an I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. I don't talk out my rear end. I'm deadly accurate, and it's showcasing it. And I love how all the things I said, Trump said, and the White House presented today. He said all of those exact words. I just love his honesty. It's not predicting the future thing. It's just, I know Trump is going to be honest. I know what those committees did. I know what the other countries did. I know what the UNSC did. And I know what OPEC agreed to over the last year. So folks, for me, if everyone stays honest, it's easy to predict all this stuff. Just be honest. I wish I could say the same for Canada. People say, we can't predict Trump. I have no problem predicting Donald J. Trump. I don't find him erratic at all. I find him ingenious. I find him overwhelmingly, refreshingly honest. Because as a Canadian, I will never see 1 ounce of that honesty in my own country. Not provincially, not federally. And the opposite reality of what everybody claims of an erratic Trump, you should come live in Canada for 6 months. I'll show you erratic beyond all measure. And you'll panic because you go, are Canadians really believing this? Are my fellow conservatives believing it? Liberals are believing that? NDP's going with that? Really? Flip-flop, flip-flop. It's like windshield wipers in Canada. And that's why we're a failing nation. It's why every day I pray for Canada, the 51st state. Folks, this is the truth. There's a whole bunch of shares on my timeline. A lot of Americans reaching out to me going, wow, man, you're incredible. Incredible, yeah. I read a lot. I stay up to date on all these things. I learned all this through self-study. First from Alberta independence. I've grown tremendously since then. I'm into 51st state now because I saw the writing on the wall. And I'm dealing with an absolute honest presidency. 100% honest and highly intelligent. Vastly, strategically, intellectually, economically, militarily. It is just like, wow. And so folks, for religion and all of that, and I understand Americans wanting they don't really understand the world of economics and resource-based economies. How could they? They're not even remotely close to that. But Canada is 100% that because we've destroyed all our other industries. And it's sad. There's lunatic Canadians who think that the resources are theirs and that America's going to bow down to the superiority of Canada and its resources. Are you insane? You've got to be a dumb shit, stupid, insane lunatic. What haven't you seen around you? I like it when people give me their reasoning instead of just, shut up, fuck you, die, kill you, motherfucker, right? Like, that's what you get in Canada. That's the lunatic. And these are conservative and liberal lunatics, both from their right-left leanings. A lot that's corrupting America, sad to say, giving people talking points that aren't legitimate just because they're not at that intellectual level, I guess. That's the best way to say it. They clearly are not well-versed or understood in their governing systems. They're not well-versed in global international law, political science worldwide. It's very bad. Like, how could you not put all this together? How could you not know OPEC was going with USA? How do you not know that China and Russia were going to step aside? Like, how would you not know that? Because you haven't read any of that. You haven't studied anything legitimate. And it's really pathetic. It's really pathetic. In Canada, it's understood because we're conditioned to be that way. Our crown keeps us dumbed down. But Americans shouldn't walk into that so easily. Not on every front. And the Bible verse stuff about ended days and all that, I'm sorry, that's not what it says. We're not even remotely close to that. In fact, it's the opposite. It might be brand new days in the world. We might see a stabilization of Islam and maybe a separation eventually of church and state. Don't get me wrong, I'm Canadian. I do not I do not appreciate or support church under state. I am fully, again, for America, church and state, and we the people decide that on our own, independent of each other, not mutually exclusive. And it's for and by the people. That's what I support. Not church under state, and I have to go through my state to get to God. I'm not for that. I don't see that effectual in the Muslim world either. Even Qatar and the rest of them, Saudi Arabia. Bad juju happens. I know just as a Canadian. I've seen all the evil. Canadians should know that too. It's not good, but most don't. First people should absolutely know that. I don't know how you don't. How you go on with Crown and believe the chief system's any good or any better than the rest of the government of Canada, federally and provincially. I don't know how you'd ever think that's any good as it's created by them. But anyways, folks, that's my video. It's an I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. And a mass amount of Americans at least reaching out going, wow, you nailed it. A lot of you long-term followers backing up a lot of my stuff, throwing it out there. It's great. You're getting it. I love that. I love that so many get it. Keep up spreading the message. Awake as many people as you can. You have to, because we can't let Canada continue on this road. I'm telling you, July is it for Canada. And you're going to see a whole mass amount of highlights coming from the USA. And seemingly pop, pop, pop in the face. How did this happen? Oh, and all of a sudden, whoa, why are the Democrats joining the Republicans? Because they always did, stupid. You should have read the committee reports. Anyways, God bless all friends and followers. Share the message. I'm not talking to all of you so much. You know that. It's talking to Canadians who will watch the video. And Americans too, really. It's important for everybody. It's a video for everybody. God bless. Bye now.